Welcome to the Top 200 podcast with your host, Herschel Foran.
What's up, everybody? It's Herschel Foran from High School Top 200. Welcome back to the Monday morning meeting. I am Herschel Foran that runs High School Top 200. Go onto our Facebook and check out High School Top 200 on Facebook, and on Instagram and TikTok it's HS Top 200. On both of those are both the same handles on both of those, so go and have a look at that. Also like and subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff. And on YouTube it's High School Top 200 on YouTube. I've been uploading games that I've been to, old games. I'm going to start uploading them soon too, from I think I've got from 2017. I remember, something like 2017, because I lost a whole bunch of stuff off one of my memory things. Is just my external memory things just busted, so I lost a whole bunch of stuff. But all the stuff that I do have from about 2017 to now, I'm going to start uploading games and stuff from back in the day. So go on YouTube, have a look on YouTube, see if the game is there. I'm starting to upload this year's stuff, so go and have a look. Also on my website, it's $5 subscription monthly on hstop200.com. It's not a free sign up, it's a sign up subscription of $5. You can see all the content that's on there. And all the scores and the rankings from all over the country. So go and have a look. So I'll be putting some thoughts up there, some reviews, like game reviews and stuff like that coming up as well. This week is going to be the year 11 rankings, and so that will be changed soon. And so go have a look at there, see if your mates, your brothers, your cousins, your uncles, your grandfathers, or whatever like that have been ranked on there. Go and check it out. This week has been a pretty long week. From Monday all the way through we had games, and so I've been going through a lot of games, watching a bunch of games this week, and I'm so happy that everybody's been sending through games, so that I've been able to watch as much as I can. Shout out to Fakado Moldy and what they've been able to do and putting on the Super 8. And also like Sky, who's put them on, Bev's broadcasting as well, who's put his ones on. Who was it? The Rugby channel on YouTube was another one. Hold on, let me get a look at those other ones. That other one's I watch it all the time too. I always forget what their name is. Huddy Sports also is another one. Huddy Sports, go and watch their stuff on Huddy Sports, and everything that they've put on too. And obviously, it's been pretty hard out because of the wind and rain, but there was no volume and stuff like that. No, what is it, for a while? No sound for a while on that video. But it just looks so rainy and all that kind of stuff too. Onside Rugby is another one that I watch all the time. And there's another one from Christchurch that I've seen too. And I want to find it too, because it's not easy. It's not easy to put on these games. And I know a bunch of, I think everyone takes it for granted how long it takes to put these games off, or to put things into production and stuff like that. But it is pretty hard, and so I'm really grateful for it. Essie of Nay, I think that's what it is. ESIFOFNEI. And I think they're a Christchurch one, because they have heaps of Christchurch games as well. And so if I'm not watching the onside one, I'm watching his one, Essie of Nye, and it's cool because onside rugby, I like the way onside rugby does it, because they make it way shorter for me and easier for me to watch a bunch of games because they just edit out all the little standing around talking, all that kind of stuff that happens. And so it's always cool because things is like 45 minutes to 50 minutes to 56 minutes, and I don't have like an hour, hour 30 of just a game, and there's like half an hour of them just walking around. So it's real cool what Onside Rugby does on YouTube. So I'll better make sure that I post up all these games so everyone knows where to find them, and so that we can get them views. And also, if any of you guys that are from these channels like Rugby Channel, Huddy, and Onside, if you want me to add some ats or hashtags or whatever, just send it to me so that when I post your guys' videos, I can post that stuff along with it, especially with the sponsors that you guys have, or if you're trying to get sponsorship or advanced sponsorship, I'll do my best to help out as well and put you guys on that too. And so, just let me know, and then I can add everything onto them, because I really appreciate everything that you guys have done for First 15 Rugby, and also for me in terms of helping so that I'll be able to see more games from around the country. And I just wish someone from like Dunedin would do something nice too, because that'd be pretty mean. Even like some of you guys that on TikTok and Instagram, and that are making all these highlight clips and stuff like that. It's pretty mean. It's pretty mean, to be honest. It's mean because I don't know how to do it myself. I'm happy to just share what you guys have done, because it's way better than what I can produce. I don't even know how to do all this stuff. Even all of this stuff, like, that is so elementary, to be honest. I've had to learn how to do it myself. Even taking photos, my photos are so average photos. And I'm just so grateful to my parents as well, who bought me the camera when I was a few years in, and I'm sure my dad just looked at some of the pictures and go, "Oh, this rubbish, son." And so they went and bought me a proper camera that I didn't have money for, and so the cameras, all the photos that you see are from my parents, and so every photo to me means a lot, only because I know where it came from and all that kind of stuff. But even photography, I have no kind of photography, as you guys can tell, at all. I just take photos, record games, record clips and stuff. That's what you see on my IG, and all that stuff is just stuff that I've just picked up on myself and myself. So if it's not good, and if you look at it and it's like, "This is pretty budget," it's like, yeah, it is pretty budget, because I'm just winging it right now, to be honest, and have been for a while, because I just don't have time to do all the stuff and perfect it and all that kind of thing. But if you're around me and you see me at games and you have some tips for me on this stuff, by all means, send me a message, come up to me in the game and go, "Hey, Hirsch, do it like this. You should do it like this. This is how you do it. Use these functions," all that kind of thing. So, yeah. I'll start with the Hamilton boys game, because that's where I was. Actually, no. I won't start with Hamilton boys. This is what I'll start with. I want to talk about halfbacks. And this is like the first time I have seen majority of halfbacks, and I'm having a go at all of you halfbacks, because majority of you halfbacks do not have a strong passing game. And I say this, and this is because I'm watching so many games, and like, if you watch the games that I watch, and even if you watch the games that I post up, and these are the ones that I haven't, these are the ones that are just on YouTube for everybody, I'll post those up. Just keep an eye on the halfbacks and their passing game, right? And have a look at how many of these passes are not on target, or even close to on target. Have a count of how many of these passes are at from knee to waist level. And from both halfbacks in a game, they probably, and I'm not talking about where these halfbacks are, pressured, or counter rucks are coming, they're trying to get the ball out fast, all that kind of stuff. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about off the top of the line out pass, just normal pass, and it's so high, or it's real low, or it's short. Like this, last week alone, I saw, I can't even remember how much I counted, but I watched 21 games last week, and at least in every single game, there was at least 5 passes, 6 passes in every single game where those balls just coming out of the hand of it was just way off, and there was no pressure, no nothing like that. It was just like a normal pass, normal situation, and it looked like it was all over the place, and it looked like it was so messy, and it looked like, and for the majority of the passes they were barely getting there. And I don't care like if it's a second 5 that does it, I don't care if it's a first 5 that does it, I don't care if it's a prop that does it, but if it's a halfback and that's your specialty, is your passing game, I personally expect a lot from that. I expect a lot from you to be able to make all your passes, to make all your box kicks, all your different variety of kicks. I expect a lot of that kind of stuff from you as a player, because in all honesty, you don't need someone there with you to practice those things. You don't need someone there as a target to be catching those balls off your passes. Because you could just line up against a pole, or you line up against a wall, and your mechanics are things that are taught when you're just by yourself, passing from the ground up, passing from off the top of the lineout, like I said, getting the ball through the hands. All these things are just things that you can just do by yourself. And my thing is that I don't understand how some halfbacks can get it wrong so badly with no pressure. And I'm talking about with no pressure. I'm just talking just getting the ball out. And the ones I feel sorry for are the first 5s. Because if that ball's going high and that first 5 is jumping, pick a rib, smash one of them. And if I was open side, I'd be yeah, this guy can't pass. This guy can't pass. It's that's who Herschel was talking about. That's the guy that can't pass. And it just doesn't, it throws off a lot of timing. And I don't know what it was too, because mechanics is one thing. Mechanics you can sort out by yourself. And I don't know why halfbacks, I don't know why I'm seeing so many halfbacks this year struggle with just that kind of thing. And that's the kind of thing that you kind of take care of if they offer you. If you've got a little brother or older brother or dad, you can just, you can get 5 balls, put it down, and just pass, and do a quick hour of just passing, passing from the base, passing from the ground, passing standing straight up, passing from the top, flicking the ball up, grabbing it, putting it back to your mechanics, letting it fly, making sure your arms out straight, put your fingers to where the target's going, all that kind of stuff that they teach you. And so when you're in your 6th game, 7th game, into the season, and you've already played 4, you've had 10 games all up with your preseason, I still don't get and understand why halfbacks are struggling so much right now with just getting some accuracy down. And there's a good 50% of them that I've seen struggle, badly. Some of them don't even have the strength to make the passes that they're supposed to be making to how far the first 5 are standing out. You almost have to tell the first 5, hey man, take a big step inwards, because he can't make it that far. And that's kind of one thing that I've just been noticing so far throughout the season. The one thing that's really bothered me, even a few years ago, was props that didn't know how to prop. There were just some big boy props that were just pushing, leaning. And I was one of those leaners sometimes too, when I used to get tired in the game. But I was getting tired by the 50th minute. I was just leaning because I was so, I was 6'5", 120, just leaning on my other prop, and this poor dude just trying to hold me up. But then you come against a prop who was always technical, and you're oh shoot, now I'm gonna actually work and do something. So I understand that, but that was just one of the things I was thinking about, and I was trying to figure out why. But I can't really figure out why, because all halfbacks are different, all routines are different, or rhythms that they go by are different. So it's just something that I think halfbacks just have to have a look at it. And if you're not one of those halfbacks, fine, you're not one of those halfbacks. But there's a bunch of these. Starting with Hamilton boys and New Plymouth, and it was good to see Riley Mitchell back on the field. And Riley Mitchell was, he's been out for so long, and from the guys I was talking to, it's just just an injury can't control, just an injury that just keeps happening, and no matter how many times rehab, it just keeps happening. And so it was just good to see him out there and getting a few. I think he got about 20 minutes. Seemed like that. My thing is that the forwards, New Plymouth forwards, were good, solid as, and I thought that they cancelled out Hamilton boys, especially when Alex went off. It really did cancel them out, and it was just the backs that were the problem. And pick a back, pick one of the backs. Just pick a big back. All of them were they were all solid. They were all on fire. Obviously Maxwell was just killing it, and Cullen and Ollie and Nathan, all of them were just Carson. They were all just picking off wherever Maxwell was, and he was just smashing. He was just breaking every line, running real good lines to where he wasn't even touched. That play that they had off the line out, where he just kind of just swerved a couple of guys, and there was and even from where I was standing, and I was with some dude this guy, and I just kind of looked at him. I was like, damn, there was nothing down this lane, this lane that I was looking down towards the try line, and he just swerved into that lane and just ran this. I was like, far out there was lane, they couldn't even touch him. Maxwell was just so good, and that's why I kind of fear. I have these two feelings with it in terms of Hamilton boys as well as New Plymouth boys, because when I look at these sides, especially with Hamilton boys, I kind of look at them and I'm not too sure, where they're going with it, right? Yeah, they have Liam and they have Alex, but when Alex went off, there was a problem, and I mean, they have some guys that are there. I really like Noel Walker. I like, Dion's great. I think when Caleb plays or Aiden, Kent Tomfoot, all these guys are great. But something's not working with this. Something's not working with the way that Hamilton boys is playing. And I didn't even think the Palmy game was exposed or showed what the problem is, because even then Hamilton boys easily could have won that game, and it just came down to that penalty, and Jamie's just just been great. So like, it's not that game, but I don't know what it is, and I don't want to compare these Hamilton boys teams today to the other ones that have come before, because it's not the same coaching. Like, Cameron's in now, he's taken over, it's what his vision is and his thing is, and it almost looks the same, and it's almost got that same feeling. Something's just not firing with him, and it's not talent based either, because Hamilton boys are just full of talent, with guys who are technically sound position wise, and they always give heart. And maybe it's just one of those years where it's just not one of their years. But I can kind of see it throughout the whole team, mainly in the forwards, but in the whole team. The backline is great, and as long as Maxwell and Ollie are firing, and Nathan is firing as well. And like, here's something about Nathan as well. Like, and I'm not just talking about Nathan. I'm talking about Fijian imports that come over from Fiji, or ones that come over from Tonga and Samoa. Is that they're all naturally gifted. They're all naturally talented in the way that they play rugby. But what they don't have, and what they have to learn when they get here, and a lot of you coaches will notice it too, is that they have to learn how to play rugby. And what I mean by that is that structural rugby, a lot of Fijians that come from Fiji are not great at structural rugby, because they play a lot of offloads and passes and 50-50s, and they all just play that way, so it kind of works. But when they come into a structured game plan where you have a game plan, and then they have moments where in a play they can go, when it gets to this point, then you can, if you see these these options open, you can play around with that. But we have to go through these motions first. A lot of Fijians, that they don't know how to play that. A lot of them don't know how to play that. A lot of them take a while for them to get into it. Nathan's just one of those guys that has like adapted way more faster than what other guys have in the past, and just because he's so naturally talented in the way that he runs, it's just like he's blowing up straight away. He's getting it done straight away. And like, he has his moments too. I'm not saying that he doesn't, because he does. He does have some moments where he's just like, oh bro, you need to let that ball go sometimes, or you need to go through the hands. And I know that it stops at you, and you think you got space, and you do, but that space is limited. What you're really looking for is for open space, open opportunities, and sometimes Fijians don't see that kind of stuff because they're just stuck in the way that they play. That's just the way that they are. That's just the way they've been playing their whole life, and they're now having to learn something. Some Fijians don't even learn that. I've seen some Fijians and Tongans and Samoans that come to New Zealand and don't make their first team, and they have been recruited because they have been good, and they just can't adapt, and they can't get into that role of, oh, this is what structured rugby is and how we should play it. I don't have this freedom anymore. Things like that, that's what it goes through. Right now, like, even though Nathan's playing so well, there are some things that he can do as well to be a bit better. And like, you could say how, because he's already ripping up. It's like, there were just moments in the Grammy game that I saw. There was moments in this new Plymouth game that I saw. Even when I saw them play against Westlake boys, there were some moments, even though he played some really good moments, there's just moments where there's some give and go that you should be able to read, or that you should read by now. And that's kind of what I mean. But Hamilton boys don't have that same spark. New Plymouth boys, on the other hand, have got a really, really good forward pack, and that will pretty much match up with a lot of everybody else. Lucas is gone for the season, which I just learned, and I hope he, I hope he gets better fast. But I think New Plymouth have enough guys in that forward pack to compete, and it's almost like I'm not like having a go at like the backs. All I'm saying is that the forwards have been lifting this team. That's the way that I've seen, and even though I think that, like, New Plymouth backs can do a bit better. Like the forwards, I talked about Cade like the last week and the way that he gets up and into the line. I think that he poses a really good base to play off. And I like that you have some of these guys like Adam, you have like Brody, Bo Henderson, you know, like these guys, Flynn. All these guys are really good forward players that can produce go forward ball, clean out ball as well, and the recycle game is pretty good. And they can match. To me, I think that they can match up with everybody else in the Super 8. Once it gets out past that first man out and it heads into the backs, I don't know where to go to from there for those guys. I think the backs have to establish like a proper go-to guy, a proper go-to either crash ball, get out of jail free, because like every other team there's like a go-to guy. I just don't know who it is for New Plymouth, and I don't know that when it gets to this guy's hands, if you're going to be guaranteed ground, if you're going to get guaranteed meters. I like that what Heath Sheehan is doing at halfback. I like what he's doing because I feel like he gets the ball out. Jason McGregor will get the ball, Tane will get the ball. Jackson. Jackson or Jack Hurley, like these guys, like I just like where do you go from there? Where's your attacking option? Where's your point of attack? Where's your prime? Like whether it's if it's like kicking into space, grabbing into space, shutting down, like all these things I just don't know. Like I'm trying to be, I don't want to be too harsh on the backline, but I just didn't see anything from this backline against Hamilton Boys that said anything different from what I think a lower level backline can do. But they have the talent, and that's what confuses me, is that they have the talent. I've seen how they've played before in under 15s, and it's like, well, where did all this stuff go? Where did the spark go? And if New Plymouth Boys are going to try and hang in this Super 8, which is like a hard competition to be in, it's like, what are you guys going to do? What are you going to resort to? You can't just leave it in the forwards most of the game, because they need that relief too. They need to be able to set a platform for you guys to attack off, but then when they do give the ball to you guys, it's like, what are you guys going to do with it? Like, how are you going to reward us by making it up the field? And that was kind of the hard thing. That was the hard thing that I was like kind of trying to figure out or looking at, being like, where's the plus in this? I don't know. Like, still a lot more games, a few more games to play to be able to sort it out, but you just got to sort it out quick in the Super 8. I think that's why the preseason is really important for Super 8. That Wellington game against Rankngs is like, man, I don't know, maybe it should have been cancelled, because like that was so messy, but like it was in Rankngs' favour. Like, I'm glad that it was that rainy, because if it was a dry day, if it was like a running day, like that score would have been 100 for sure. I mean, they hit like 86 or something like that. And they just made it look so easy. That's what it was. Just made it look so easy. And again, like, there's something wrong with Wellington Rugby. I was kind of disappointed with Rathkill last week because them playing Silverstream, I actually thought that they were going to do better. And I kind of think that they got rattled. I think Silverstream just rattled them, and that's what the score should be. If they play them again, I know that's not what the score's going to be. I don't think they'll win. I don't think they can beat Silverstream right now, but it shouldn't be that far apart. And Rathkill really need to pick it up. And even with Rathkill joining into the Wellington comp, it's great and it's important, and it's probably going to get a little bit better. But I think a lot of people have been saying it for a while. It's just like Wellington Rugby nearly needs to pick up, especially at first 15 level, because Silverstream right now are the only consistent team from top to bottom. Only consistent team. Wellington's kind of getting there. Town is kind of getting there. Scots College has fallen off in a big way, and it's not surprising, but in a big way. And you know, I'd really want to talk to Dominic Bird about it and see how I can help, because I mean, like, I think people don't understand how long I've been doing this and what I've seen. And Scots College is a real big was probably one of the biggest teams at the time when I first started in 2013. They had the most talent, they had the most speed, they had the most superstars, they had, you know, them and Wellington College were at the top. I started in those days, you know, like I started when the days when Hastings boys was getting blown up by 80 points. That's how far back I've been doing this, and how many teams I remember, and how many players I remember coming through, and how the change of these teams have gotten. Like, I've seen all these teams change, build, and sort of fall down, and right now it's looking like Scots is falling down. And in my mind and in my heart, like, I feel sorry for them and I want to help them out. But that's like up to them whether they want the help or not. But I would personally want to talk to Dominic Bird and just see what I can do to help out, because it would be sad to see that rugby program fall, because it's falling. But hitting rock bottom is not the greatest place for them to hit. Like, you can stop it. But that Wellington game and Rongotai one really did show like a big difference in where everybody is in terms of talent and structure, and, you know, technique differences, and, you know, it was just, Wellington was just way too good for them, and it was just lucky that it was raining. I think obviously my favorite game was probably that Hastings one, and like, a lot of people got angry at me for what I said about Hastings, but if you watch Hastings and I watch Hastings, and Hastings were losing by 60 to 80 points, and the 60 to 80 points, like, if Hastings boys did that now, 60 to 80 points where they'd lose by that much, people would like be wondering what's going on. But that's what they used to be. That's what they used to be. They used to lose by that much until they changed the program around, and they started really building from the kids that were there, getting the kids involved. And like, that's why, like, I hope, if anything, is that, like, I hope that they don't change the culture of Hastings boys. And because what they've built, they've changed the school, they've changed the belief in the boys. And to me, it's just like, when your first 15 is winning, or even having like a good year, and there's a lot of pride in that, I think the school changes. And from the people that I know from my childhood that are from Hastings and live in Hastings and still there now to this day, and from the parents that I've talked to over the past, the school as a whole has changed, and it's got to do with the first 15. It's got to do with you know, their principal that just passed, And he was such a great man and such a great leader and father figure and just a loving guy who really cared about the boys. And those two things changed it. And boys are willing to be at school, willing to do the work, willing to put in the hard work, all that kind of stuff. And that's the reason why I had that kind of that's why my message last week about Hastings boys and Rotorua boys was different. It was about that. It was about sort of the earning of it, because I've just seen where it's come from. I've seen year after year the hard work that they've put into it every single year where they've gotten to this point. And then to see them, what they did on, against Napier, and they were 17 points down, They were 17 points down, and then they didn't let them score another point. And the thing is that there was a part in the game, and it was it was in the second half, and Hastings had a line out. It must have been somewhere where it was the 25th minute or 6th, 7th minute in the second half, and Hastings had a line out. I think it was overthrown. Napier quickly tapped, and then they went through the hands down the back line, got all the way to the wing on the opposite side of the field, and then they had a break. And what I was talking about for Hastings was exactly this moment. And you can see Issy, who's a prop, at the line out. You can see him run all the way back and then catch up to the wingers, pull them down in the tackle, then slow the ball down and get the ball and almost turned it over. But it's that moment is what I'm talking about in terms of effort, and what I'm talking about in terms of what you give back in the game. For Issy to run from a broken down line out, instead of having a sulk about it and having a moan oh, that's not what happened, ref, blah blah blah, and all that stuff, he just committed to what was supposed to be done and what should have been done, and he took off as a prop and then chased down a winger diagonally across the field and then slowed it down so they could all get back, and then he made, he just made the play and showed the effort. A lot of times coaches don't care about what scoreline it is. They care a lot more about the effort and the attitude that you put into it. The body language is a big thing now, but the body language has always been seen. We just never really identified it as body language and how it can change or influence your team, and having body language and showing that this is what I'm putting out. That play with Issy where he ran down, that's what you want. That's the effort that I was talking about. That's the effort that I miss seeing from Rotorua boys and from Hastings over the past few weeks, and both of them kind of brought it back. Both of them are playing with that. But then that's just what you want. That was probably the biggest game for me, was the Hastings one, and how they turned it around. They turned it around, and even better, they turned around not just their performance as a team, but also being 17 points down in your biggest rival game against your rivals 15 minutes down the road, to be 17 points down and then come back and then hold them scoreless for the rest of the game. That's what I thought was pretty cool. That's where I really enjoyed and saw the value in this team and how it's kind of, it's really turning around and changing. Yeah, that was probably my favorite game. The Westlake Rosmini one was interesting too, and Rosmini held on for a while. I mean, Travis Finlay's just too good. Like, he did so much, and he is quickly looking like my favourite number 8 in the country right now. Cruz is not far behind, but in terms of consistency and performance and like the way he changes the game, I really like Travis a lot and how he's doing it. Him and Johan Schumkel would be really good, like 7-8. It'd be cool if you saw Daniel Lawrence 7-8, 6-7-8 of those three. You know, those three kind of guys. Even Cruz like at 6. I'd like to see Cruz at 6 too. See what he can do from there. But like Travis was just too good in that game. And like I think if they play again, Rosmini's not far off. Rosmini is such a good side. I would have some positional changes, especially in that back line, but in terms of like the way that they play, apart from Hastings boys in pre-season, this is the first time I've seen a team sort of like really rattle Westlake boys. Even though they drew last week with Whangarei boys, which was a massive surprise and probably a bit of an ego check for Westlake in terms of their players, but this is the first time I've seen it in terms of Rosmini like really having a go. Even Tauranga boys that beat them, I still thought Westlake was a better team on the day, and Tauranga just found a way. But I thought that was like a really good game, you know, to watch. And like even the St. John's and Fielding, right? Like and I got the time wrong for that game. I was so annoyed. I thought it started at 12, started at 11. And then I should have went down the road to St. Peter's and watched Francis Douglas, but then I got that time wrong too, and so it just gets annoying when I get the times wrong for the games. But Fielding are going through a slump, but they are finding their way out of it. And on the opposite side, St. John's is coming out of a slump. They've got a really good forward pack. They need a backline that needs to figure it out. They're probably in the same boat as New Plymouth boys, where they have really good forward packs that can hang with everybody else, but when it comes to the backline, they just got to figure some stuff out. And the boys need to really believe in why they have earned their position and sort of just play it that way. And St. John's is the same, you know, like when you watch like guys like Harper and Alistair and like those kind of guys and the team, and they're just going full, you know, going into it just hard out. But then you're just like unsure when it gets from 9 after that. You're just like, shoot, what are the backs going to do with this? You know, and Thomas played okay. Like Ollie's been really good, I thought, and as a year 11, you know, in centre, like I think he's played really, really good, and excited for what he's going to bring next year. But just really strong. But they do have their, they do need to find out and figure out what that backline will bring to the team and to the game as well. But yeah, I'm not sure, you know, because there were some big upsets. I'd really like to watch that Kings game against St. Peter's, because that Auckland, this 1A competition is different and it's really close. I do think that's the best competition this year. Like it's not automatic for me. Like I know people think automatically, oh no, yeah, it's Auckland, so they must have the best competition. Nah. Super Rugby Super 8 will take that. Most of the time, Super 8 to me takes it. Less teams, higher quality of teams, and you know you don't really get a rest, and you got add travel and all that kind of stuff. But this year, the 1A is just so strong, and King, St. Peter's, St. Kentigans, Sacred Heart, Liston, like all of them are such strong teams. And then you got such a young team like Kelston Boys, who have all these fellas who are all pretty much eligible to come back next year. And it is going to be a scary thought for a bunch of these Auckland teams that are not going to be ready for this Kelston Boys team that comes back. And if they click the way that most First 15 1A fans think it's going to be for Kelston Boys, you know, we could have like a national championship in Kelston Boys again, you know, with the talent that they have coming back. But yeah, I've still got a bunch more games that I want to watch, a bunch more games that I want to see. I do want to keep this short because of, you know, most of these podcasts that go on too long just because I get stuck in my own kind of thoughts. Yeah, Kings, so just the top 25, they run down of the top 25 is number 1 Kings, beat St. Peter's 27-24. St. Kennigan's won over Botany Downs 57-0. Hamilton lost their first game to Palmy Boys 21-19. Sacred Heart won 32-29 over Liston College. Marlborough Boys beating Christ College 38-5, massive score, as well as Christchurch Boys 41-0 over St. Bede's, which both of those scores are really eye-opening of how good these two teams are. Tauranga Boys beating New Plymouth Boys 40-19, Rotorua Boys winning 43-12 over Gizzy. Hastings won over Napier Boys. Westlake won over Rosamond. Fielding beating St. John's. Auckland Grammar 27-10 over Dilworth. If you have that game, can you please send it to me? I want to watch that game. I've seen a few Auckland Grammar games, but I really want to watch that one, as well as that Hamilton one if someone can send that to me too. St. Thomas winning over Rangiora 60-20. And Rangiora's not that bad. Like, they score points too, so they have got an offense. They do. And I would really like to see that midfield target a bit more and really connect with a blind side or number 8 out on the back line, like things like that, just kind of mix it up. But Rangiora High School have like an attacking side. Silverstream beating St. Bernard's 62-3. St. Peter's Cambridge winning 50-27 over Francis Douglas. Nelson College, number 23 ranked Nelson College, lost to St. Andrews 24-22. Not really a surprise because St. Andrews is a really good team. They just lost some games and they just kind of need to find themselves. But don't be surprised if you see them in the top 25 coming up this week. Coming up today. We'll be on later on today anyways. St. Paul's Collegiate winning 57-5 over St. John's College. If I stay here in Hamilton, I want to see Francis Douglas and St. Paul's, and I think that might be a game that St. Paul's are going to have to be really careful of, because that could be one where they lose. And if I don't, because I'm looking at going to Fielding and Lindisfarne on Saturday, and if I don't go there, and I'm not up in Auckland, I'll probably be going to that game. And I know Hamilton Boys and Rotorua are playing too, but I really want to see Francis Douglas and what they've got, and that will be a lot more of an interesting game in terms of St. Paul's getting tested as well. Getting tested again. They need another test in terms. They've had good games against Wesley, also against Lindisfarne. This will be another one, and it's kind of where I wish Rathkill didn't leave, but all these teams are closer together. Obviously St. John's, Hastings not really in it this year again, but everyone else is pretty sharp. Everybody else is around that same level, and the competition is a lot tighter. And even Fielding's not even like, after they lost to St. Peter's School, it's just not guaranteed. So like things are going to happen. But anyways, That's just the top 25. I'm still working on some little segments I can do throughout the week for those that don't have long attention span, don't want to sit here and listen to me think and figure things out along the way. And like, this is just how I talk. I talk this way. I try and figure out really what I want to say, use the right words. So it does take a little heartbeat or two for me to really speak my mind on what they are. But I do try and be as honest as possible without being mean, without being malicious, because I'm never malicious. I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't say things the way that I'm saying if I was going to be malicious. If I wanted to be mean, I'd just be mean. I'm pretty comfortable with myself and what I am and what I look like and how I carry myself and whatever. No one can really hurt my feelings. Only my daughter. My daughter's can probably hurt my feelings, but no one else can hurt my feelings. I don't really give a damn what anyone else thinks, but I'm not being malicious. I just see things how I see things, and I say it in a lot of care and love and hopes that it ignites something in you to at least look inwards and see if there's any truth to something. And parents out there that take things what I say hard, I mean, I could probably understand that, being a parent myself. But I always look at my kid first to go, well, are they doing this wrong? Are they doing this without, all that kind of stuff. But anyways, love you all. Later, ball.